The third pane of the Navigator is the Layout book, and it's all the different sheets of your project. Each one of the sheets refers to a specific master, and the masters are defined in this folder at the bottom. And if you open them up, you can open the master up for editing. The master can use stuff like auto text that have the layout ID, or auto text that'll pull up stuff from the project information. So if I pull up project information under File Info, you can see that the project name was entered as sample file. The street, I had put a space in there, so if I actually put in a specific address, I did the same thing with the city and the state, because when I originally created this, I didn't want those filled in on my title block with dummy text, so I put blank spaces in there. Now, by changing that one master, all of my different sheets are filled in with that information. So those correspond to the sheets. Now, on these sheets, we can place drawings. And these drawings can be placed without a title block or with a title block. And that's controlled by the settings in your drawing settings box. And of course, after one's placed, you can adjust those. There's 3 ways to get a drawing placed on a sheet. One is if it's an external drawing from outside of ArchiCAD, in which case you would use external content, place external drawing. For instance, if you were trying to bring in a drawing from a consultant that you don't need to make any changes to, just want to place a DWG or something on here, you can do that. The second is if I'm on the drawing tool and I just click, it'll then say, do I want to bring in an external source or an internal view? And I'm going to bring in an internal view, and you'll see it lists essentially everything that I had in my view map, my drafting views and my construction document views. And I could pick whichever one of these I wanted to bring in, and it tells me what that particular one was set for, and I can place, and it comes in. Now, that can be a pain because the longer that list is, I'm going to go ahead and undo that. Every time I do that, I've got to scroll through this list to find the view I want. So, the other way I can do that would be first open the layout view I want, then go to the Navigator view map, find the view I'm looking for in here, and drag and drop it on the screen. Both of those will bring that view in. Again, I'm going to undo that because I don't need that on the sheet. So generally, that's the way I do it. Go to the sheet you want, drag the view on. Now, there are a couple ways you can get views onto layout sheets that I do not recommend, but people do because it looks like it's a good shortcut, and that's the problem. It's a shortcut that doesn't get all your settings. The most problematic one is if somebody's on a sheet and then they go back to the view map and they go somewhere on the view map and they're working on this, editing it away, and as they get to the sheet they want, they're switching things on the fly. I'm going to hide this layer. And okay, this looks like what I want. And one of my options, both under my right-click menu, is Save View and Place on Layout, which is also I believe it's in one of the menus, but since I never use it, there it is, Save View and Place on Layout. I can hit this, and instantly it did 2 things. One, it defined a new view in the view map, and 2, switches me to the layout book on the last layout I was, ready for me to click the drawing on. 2 problems with that. One, it went to the last layout I was on, which I may not remember what one it was on. And yes, I can always come over here and drag it to a different sheet if I need to. And now I've moved it to the interior elevation sheet, as silly as that sounds. But the second problem is it defined a completely brand new view here at the bottom of my view map. It didn't put it in inside my own tree structure, just added it to the end of everything. And it was using whatever the current settings were and didn't give me any feedback for what they were. Every time when I said to save a view, it always gave me feedback and I could double check how things were set. In this case, it just took the current settings, grabbed them, placed them, and was done, and didn't give me any options to adjust them or rename it. Now, I can always go back and rename it later and tweak things if I need to, but it's really going to be better for me not to place a drawing that way, but rather if I say, hey, I want to get a drawing onto my layout book, go back to my project map, go to the window I want, set the settings that I want, move to the view map, save the view. It gives me the feedback here where I can double check that things are set the way I want, name it how I want, switch to the layout book and open the layout that I'm interested in, and then drag that view on. And that way I've got total control all the way along. Now, in this case, I don't need that view, so again I'm going to delete it from my view map as well.
Oh no.
Then also while I'm on here, when I'm looking here, I can move through the sheets one sheet at a time, double check where things were, and get to the different views that I wanted. If you were still used to using PlotMaker, which was the separate application, you may have been using things where you say, okay, as I'm on a particular sheet, I would save one PlotMaker drawing from ArchiCAD, place it multiple times and change the layers within the drawing. If I select a drawing and open the drawing settings, I no longer have the option to change the layers inside the drawing. All the layers that were saved in the view will be on and I can't change them. So if you want to place that, you would need multiple views to represent the different drawings. So I would have one view for floor plans and a separate view for electrical plans. I can't use the same view for both of them and switch the layers in the layout book after it's placed.